Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I want to talk about the new moon that we're going to have on Sunday, June 18th, in a nakshatra called Mrigashira in the sign of Gemini. But before I begin, I just want to say I will be talking about the sidereal or astronomical placements as used in Vedic astrology. If you're new to my channel, hi! I'm RoseAnna. I'm a Vedic astrologer talking about new moon and full moon updates and planetary transits. So if you're interested in that, you can subscribe below. You can also find me over on Instagram, where I post planetary transits and astrology news every week. So this new moon will be in the nakshatra called Mrigashira, or it's also called the star of searching, or the searching star. And it's a nakshatra that spans from the sign of Taurus and into the sign of Gemini. But this new moon will be on the Gemini side of Mrigashira. And so this is the nakshatra that bridges the energy from Taurus and into Gemini. And in the cosmic evolution, or the soul's journey on the zodiac, this signifies where, after establishing our roots and collecting material assets and values and establishing our family and our presence in Taurus, the energy naturally moves on into searching outward and building a community and expanding the energy, because now we're starting to get our curiosity is starting to awaken, and we long for new experiences and to widen our horizons. So, and that's the energy of Mrigashira much as well, because like I said, it's the searching star, and it's also symbolized by a deer or an antelope. And it's a nakshatra that's very driven toward seeking new experiences and seeking new environments. And the name Mrigashira actually also translates to the head of a deer. And so that's significant because the symbol for this nakshatra is also that of the head of a deer. So that really heightens that energy of the search and the awakening curiosity and longing for new experiences and travel and expanding our horizons that starts to really take place here. Each nakshatra is also linked to a specific deity or a cosmic influence, and in the case of Mrigashira, that is Soma, or Soma is actually often called the moon god, but really Soma means it's the nectar of life. That very same nectar that once what once was one demon, Rahu and Ketu, stole from the gods in his quest to become immortal and rise to the level of the other gods. So because he was a demon, but that very same or stealing that nectar also resulted in his beheadment. So this is why Rahu and Ketu is forever doomed to circle the cosmos in perpetuity, because they also became immortal, but after they were beheaded. So, but the fact that Soma links to the nectar of life, which also shows that the longing for the good life has to offer, and that longing for what would you say, blissful experiences, let's say. And the fact that it's linked so closely also to the moon, our mind, our emotions, that also shows the fickle or restless, mentally restless energy that can be found here. That search that has no end, in a way. The planetary ruler for Mrigashira is Mars, and because we're on the Gemini side of Mrigashira, there's an influence of the combined energy of Mars, the ruler of Mrigashira, and Mercury, the ruler of Gemini. So there's a combination of Mars and Mercury energy here. And that really creates this top-heavy, analytical, logical-driven mind, because Mars is the planet that really wants to understand how things work. You know, it's very technically oriented, that's very logical, and you might say analytical also, but not in the same way that Mercury is, because Mercury is our intellectual mind, or our intellect, our analytical mind. And so Mercury is always curious, always questioning everything, always seeking more knowledge, if you will, and more wanting to get the answer to the questions in life, but also questioning those answers we already got. So there's Mercury is also the planet that provides us with the ability for self-reflection in a way. So Mercury and Mars together really creates this the focus on our mind rather than our emotions, and very top-heavy, analytically, intellectually oriented thinking, or you might say over-analyzing could even be a thing here. And they could also create a tendency for getting caught up in debates, and very could even be arguments, but because Mars really wants to win, and Mercury can be quite well, of course, talkative, but what would you say, driven toward discussions. So those two together can really also create the tendency for getting caught in debates and arguments and even heated discussions. So that's a tendency here as well. But the quest for Mrigashira is really expanding our, let's say, intellectual horizons, and understand, because here we have here our inner curiosity is awakened, and we really want to grasp and get a better understanding of things, and even how things work in a technical sense. But this also shows the potential shadow side that can be found here in Mrigashira, which is a restlessness, but also such a strong desire for intellectual stimulation. And it could also be where we get so much inspiration that we want to launch 1,000 projects at the same time, but which of course means that we don't really have the potential to really finish either one of them. So everything gets sort of left half done, if you will. So I always get the mental image of like a colibri. No, that's the Swedish word, sorry. I always get the mental image of a hummingbird moving from flower to flower and never really getting to the bottom of anything. So that could be an influence here as well. Another aspect is where we're so caught up in the search that we're not really present in the here and the now, not really able to just sit in silence or stillness and be content. So we're always out of ourselves, looking for something, looking to be stimulated, looking for stimulation, and always searching for something else, something new, something better. So it could be very easy also here to get caught up in that the grass is always greener mindset, because we're not really content with just being in the here, in the now, in the present. So that's part of the evolutionary cycle here as well, to sort of bring Mars and Mercury together in the highest sense, which is that of mind mastery, like mastering our mind, mastering our thoughts, realizing that we can control our thoughts, and in the same manner we can also control our emotions. But it all starts with our mind. So part of the evolutionary cycle here is controlling our mind, controlling our thoughts. So if you're into or familiar with the tarot, for example, think of the energy of the magician. So another aspect of this is that there's a tendency for indecisiveness here, because Gemini is also a dual sign, and it's an analytical and intellectual sign. So there's also the influence of having a hard time deciding what it is that we want to pursue, because the other side of that could also be that there are so many possibilities that we want to do so many things at once. So because whenever we decide to do something, in that very same moment, there's also so many other possibilities we are then saying no to. So if you know what I mean. So if you have 1,000 options and you say yes to number one, you are saying no to the 999 other options that you're not pursuing. So, and that can be difficult for this intellectually stimulated, oriented sort of energy, because you don't want to really set your mind to just one thing. You want to do you want to have many possibilities open to you. So yeah, but that's a whole other aspect of this nakshatra as well. I also found it interesting that the new moon will occur only mere hours after Saturn stations to be retrograde. So I found it really significant that these two events align. So when Saturn retrogrades, and I talked some more about this in my previous updates, but when Saturn starts to retrograde, that really provides us with an opportunity to take pause and to reevaluate our how and when we spend our energy. Because Saturn is the planet of time and karma, but it's also the planet that show us our limitations. So Saturn makes us face the reality that we can't do it all. Rather opposite of the energy here in Mrigashira, where we're so curious, we want to pursue so many possible paths. But here with Saturn, we're also reminded that our energy and our time is limited, and we need to focus our attention on being dedicated to pursuing the things that really matters. So Saturn retrograding is an opportunity to reflect on those things. Am I spending my time and my energy on the right things? Meaning the things that I'm truly dedicated to and the things that I'm truly passionate about. Saturn can also make us aware if we've been exceeding our energy limits, let's say. Perhaps if we've been doing too many projects at once, or we've been taking on way too many commitments and we can't do it all. Because Saturn also is the planet that really pushes us to honor our commitments. So perhaps rather than having many things or many commitments left undone, it's better to just single out a few that we truly feel like, okay, this I can do 100%. So singling out a few commitments that we can honor rather than having way too many commitments that we can't really show up for. So there's also this energy in Mrigashira of wanting to pursue different paths. So perhaps if you feel like you've been standing at a crossroads, or you've been you feel like you're standing where either you want to change your path, or perhaps there's a new path unfolding, this could be a good time to really this new moon cycle to really evaluate which direction you wish to go, and to be very realistic and very serious about it, because Saturn's influence, Saturn really creates the influence of time and commitment to whatever we wish to pursue. So, and also making us respect our own boundaries and our own energy. So there's an aspect of that as well. We can't do too much at once, or Saturn will put the brakes on us. If there's a situation where you've been standing at a crossroads, or feeling hesitation, doubt, or indecisiveness. Take some time this new moon to really ask for clarity and get more perspective on which way you truly want to move forward. You could journal or, I don't know, write, free write, or perhaps even meditate on it to use the energy to get more clarity. As usual, I thought I'd share my questions for reflection that I wrote for this new moon. And the questions I wrote this time were, is there some area of my life that needs more clarity? Am I clear on how to prioritize my energy? What makes me feel most inspired? What spurs my inner curiosity? How can I incorporate more of that into my daily life? Is there a situation where I suffer from indecisiveness? And if so, what is the reason behind my hesitation? How can I support myself in moving forward with clarity and decisiveness? Thank you guys for watching. I hope you liked the video. If you did, please leave a like or a comment down below because that really helps support the channel. With that, I wish you a most blessed new moon. Take care, guys. Bye.